everybody. Oh my goodness. Firstly, let me apologise because I haven't been very consistent with the YouTube channels. But secondly, welcome to another show of Dot's Diaries. There has been loads going on, like a lot. In the last episode, I was showing you about how we were introducing to one of my dogs, which was Hunter, the big male. He was my biggest concern at the time, but as it turns out, he has been the least of concern. Next to Sky. Sky's not really been a big concern at all. She's just doing her thing. Sky is my eldest. She's 12, nearly 13, and she's just like, "Hey Dot, welcome aboard." And then when Dot kicks off, she's like, "Oh, I'll just ignore you. I'll just ignore you and pretend like you're not there, and everything will be fine." That's Sky's mentality. Hunter has been, I'll ignore you, not particularly bothered about you, but don't fuck with me, has been Hunter's approach to the whole situation. So he's been absolutely fine until there's been an issue. And when I say an issue, the biggest problems that we've had introducing the dogs have been Dot with the terriers. Digger less so. Digger can hold his own. Dot is a funny one because she really wants to greet the dogs, and then there are moments when she panics. Like, she never panics with Hunter, just fitted. Never panics with Sky. Never panicked with Digger, really, or any of my dogs. But there has been panic involved because, as we know, or if you don't know, Digger has been my problem dog over the years. He has been the grey hairs to my head. Look at these grey hairs. And so introducing them was a little bit of a challenge. It's still not done right. They did end up fighting. Thankfully, they both had muzzles on. But the biggest issue has been Lily. Lily is happy to ignore Dot. We've been in the field, she's been off lead, she's stayed close to me, I trust her in that element. No issues. Dot, however, finds Lily very, very exciting. So much so that she views her as prey, unfortunately. Now, it's not uncommon for Lily to have this from dogs because of how tiny she is. The videos and the photos really don't do it justice just to how small Lily is. She's tiny. She's like a 6-kilo dog, if that. And then when she moves, it initiates Dot's prey drive. Now, if you don't know what a prey drive is, it is the level of interest that the dog has in moving furry, small things. Sometimes not small, just sometimes fast things. And it is, all dogs have what's called a predatory sequence. And when it comes to the likes of a hunting dog sequence, they'll have the full pattern and repertoire. So a really basic repertoire is: I see it, I stalk it, I chase it, I grab it, I bite it, I kill it. If you think of your terriers, if you think of your dogs that are bred to go out there and hunt and kill stuff, they have the full predatory sequence. It's not to say that they'll all go on to kill stuff, but if you've got a working dog that's bred for that, chances are they're going to want to do it. In the case of like a herding breed, such as a German Shepherd, their predatory sequence tends to stop at I'll chase it and I'll nudge it. So originally bred for the purposes of moving cattle, moving sheep, a herder's whole job is to stop movement. And Dot's prey drive is very, very high. Not to mention the Malinois in her, so she does like fast moving items. Which is where our challenges come in, really, because when Lily's still, and it's only outside really, when Lily's still, Dot's fine. Yep, she's there. She's there. Everyone else is there. But the minute she moves, boom, she's on her. So that's proven to be a little bit of a challenge. As I say, in the house, it's less of a problem. However, in the house, Dot isn't loose with the other dogs yet. I've moved her into the bedroom where my dogs usually reside. They have free access to the house, but they kind of choose the bedroom. And the terriers are in there as well. That's where the terriers' crates and beds are. And we moved her into there, and the reason I did this was because, one, she wanted to be a part of what we were doing, which is fair enough, you know. I want to include her as much as I can that's going to keep everybody safe. And at the same time, I've moved her in there so that she can start learning about how a multi-dog family works. Because she's been an only dog for her, what I believe to be her entire life, 19 months. She's had 1 or 2 friends, an older Scotty dog that she used to muck about with up until she started getting a bit too boisterous. And I think she mucked about with other dogs when she was younger, but when the problems started coming in, she was socialised less and less, understandably. So I really wanted to move Dot in here to learn and to watch and to observe how the dogs are interacting, and also for them to keep communicating between each other safely. There's been a couple of comical incidents, not so much for Dot. One of the first incidents is when she was whining. So she was in a crate, everything had been sorted, but she just wanted to be out. And she was whining and she was sat there, you know how it goes. And Hunter, my male shepherd, just walks up to the crate. He stands her side on. And if he could talk, I imagine him to be saying this: pack it in. And he walked away, just no reactions, no teeth, no snarling. He just stood there with presence, looked at her. She stopped crying, and then he walked away. And I thought that was a beautiful representation. And he walked away and he went and lay on the bed next to her and went to sleep, and Dot copied. So that was really nice. Another little incident that we've had with the communication between them is actually Lily. When I said I've had no incidents with them in the house, I'm just thinking back to when one of the very first hours that Dot was in the room with us. Lily came out and Dot was like, I want you. And Lily just, like, for how small she is, she just bolts up to the crate. She bares her teeth. Like, we've been gobsmacked. My mate's been gobsmacked at how big this dog's teeth is. And she's just stood there going, don't you dare. And Dot was like, what are you? Like, there was no fear. There was no concern from Dot when Lily was doing this initially. But then Dot started to get the message when Lily was like, continued to show her teeth. And she just stood there. And yeah, curiosity first. And then Dot was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'll just turn my head. Mean no harm. It's all good. So that's where we're up to with the dogs at the minute. We are in an observations and watching a multi-dog phase. I just feel like bringing her out of the crate, 1, it's too soon for Dot. 2, I think because we've had a few incidents in the field where Lily's been scared, Sky's been like, oh my god, I don't want this hassle. You know, she's nearly 13, can't blame her. And Digger and the boys have kind of been stepping up a notch, and they've come in to protect Lily. They've come in to protect where any incident has been happening. And there's not been that many, but when Dot did predate on Lily, Hunter came straight in and he was like, you do not do that. You do not do that to my valued pack member. So that was nice to see. But coming back to it, I don't think it's right. And Dot isn't ready to freely integrate into the house with the dogs at the minute. But she will. I have every confidence that she will. And, you know, if it gets to the point where she can only mix with the shepherds and I have to put the terriers in the crate for a bit, then that's fine. That's absolutely fine. It's about keeping everybody safe. It's about keeping everybody successful. She's there now, look. What are you doing? She's having it's her morning mooch outside. We've just got up and she's had breakfast, so because my dogs get a lot of free time and now she's in the bedroom, my guys can go and chill out in the lounge, and she can kick about with me in the morning. She gets more time out of her crate. She can play with her toys. She's had her breakfast. She can watch me sit and write my journal and get myself ready for the day, and then when the breakfast is settled, we potter on out for a walk, anywhere between half an hour to an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. It depends what I'm doing on that morning. So yeah, she's really settling into a routine. She's learning more about the ways of a multi-dog house and how they communicate and how they interact with each other. And overall, things are heading in the right direction. I'm sorry it's taken so long to get this video out to you. It has been quite chaotic. There's been loads going on, because on top of that, I've been doing everything else outside with her. We're going out regularly. She's seeing more distractions. I kind of mix it up where and when we're walking. From my doorstep, I can kind of go out for an hour and a half and not see anybody if I need to. At the same time, if I had another way, I can go down into the centre of Buxton and we can see more distractions. And I've just been kind of mixing between the two. I'm not doing the distractions every day because she can't handle it, which I learnt. We did a fantastic day where she won 10-0. I thought, brilliant, this is fantastic. Went out the next day and she lost horrendously. So it really demonstrated to me that she wasn't ready for those distractions every day. So I just mix it up. I'm like, we'll do a quiet walk one day and then we might hit the distractions a couple of times, and then we'll just decompress you and we'll go out again and just do a chilled walk, a nice fun walk. And she's getting a bit more off lead time out there as well. As I say, over on the hill, I can see way ahead of me. She's got her muzzle on, I've got the long line on, and she can just go, oh my goodness, I forgot to tell you. The whole off-lead thing has just reminded me about the weekly sessions that she's doing with her new friend Coda. How can I forget that? The biggest update and biggest success we've had is that my friend who's been helping me handle Dot and handle Dot while I've been handling my dogs also has her own dog called Coda. And she was like, you know, why don't you come on a walk with us and we'll just see how they get on. So we did. And initially, like, they did have a bit of a to-do. Dot went in very inappropriately, but Coda stood his own and he went, do never ever do that to me again. How dare you? And Dot went, oh, okay. Like, you know, this behaviour stems from insecurity. And we are doing a lot of desensitization and counter conditioning. She's going in with this really rude manner because she's scared. So I don't particularly like that she's having to be corrected all of the time. However, she is learning from those corrections, and we are doing a lot of desensitization and counter conditioning with dogs out and about on a regular basis. So we are building up that change in mindset. We are building up that dogs are not a problem, she's going to be safe, you don't need to worry. Coming back to the walks with Coda, they had this scuffle. Coda said, don't you ever do that to me again. And Dot went, okay. And they have got on like a house on fire ever since. We've been for an amazing walk and a loop somewhere that way where we saw absolutely nothing. Yeah, we saw absolutely nothing. So it was just the two of them integrating. Dot was muzzled, but she had free time off the lead. And then last week we went over to the Goit Valley over at Fernley Reservoir, and they enjoyed a really nice walk. We saw a few more distractions, which was a bit too much for Dot, but on the whole she did well. No issues with Coda, and she's made her very first friend. And I have more updates to come on the whole friend, on the whole friend zone, in the fact that she's going to be going out with a dog walker twice a week, solo to begin with, and then she's got her dogs that she can start to integrate, who she deems is going to be a right and a good fit for the dogs. So yeah, on the whole dog to dog thing, it's coming on beautifully. There have been glitches, but that comes with the territory, and I'm just super excited that she's pushing forward, that she's learning these skills, and that hopefully, you know, she's going to see that dogs are an asset to her life and that they can make her feel secure, and that she has nothing to worry about, that she can have her friendships, and that life is good. So that's the update for Dot's Diaries. As always, I'd appreciate any shares to help this lady, to help this little lady find her forever home. If you've got any questions on anything we've covered, please fire it in the comments below, and I will see you next week for the next episode of Dot's Diaries.